Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the next very interesting and engaging session at TIE Global Summit 2020, which is the world's largest entrepreneurial summit by the entrepreneurs for the entrepreneurs. Did you know at TIE Global Summit TGS 2020, we have had 40,000 plus registrations, 20,000 plus startups, 350 plus speakers, 500 plus one on one sessions, and 135 plus leading companies participating with us? No, right? Yes, that is the level that we're taking this to. And also, all the full access participants, I hope you all are making the best use of the matchmaking software that we have. I request you all to please complete the profile and schedule meetings with your fellow participants. So this artificial intelligence powered matchmaking software will recommend you suitable attendees to schedule your meetings. So please go ahead and do that. Coming back to this session, we have very eminent personality with us who will be conducting a keynote session from Dell Technologies on future of work by Mr. Kalol Hazra. Thank you so much, Mr. Hazra, for joining us today. I would like to tell you all that Mr. Kalol Hazra is the Director of Sales, Strategy and Enablement, Asia Pacific and Japan. He's had 3.5 decades of experience, 3.5 decades of experience in IT industry, and from last 4 years, he's at Dell Technologies. We are so happy that you're here with us, Mr. Hazra. And could you please tell us what would you be talking about and take this session ahead?
Yeah, thank you so much. I can see what's pinned up now. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Okay.
So good evening, everyone. Hope all of you are staying safe. It's been 3 long days of session, and of course, there is a lot of artificial intelligence things happening, like matchmaking with your, with the person who will be closely resembling what you are looking for, and that's a great idea, actually. So I'm going to talk about future of work. And as Jasleen just mentioned, that it's going to be a session where I'm going to discuss why and what are the emerging technologies which will have an impact on work in the next era, that is up to 2030, and how will it change the human-machine partnership. The question is, why should it matter now? And what you need to keep in mind going forward, because we are in 2020 right now, and we all of us want to forget the year, but 2030 is knocking on the door. It's just 10 years away. And if we don't prepare for it now, then we will be again losing out in the marketplace. Why it's important for you as venture capitalists, startup investors, and also, proprietors of startup enterprises and organizations. It's important because you are all creating organizations. And if we don't keep in mind what will happen next, it will be very difficult to actually keep pace with all the things which are happening around us. And 2030 will come and go, and we will be left behind. So it's important that we all get prepared for what's happening next as far as all the emerging technologies are concerned. So Dell Technologies has partnered with an organization called IFTF. It's called Institute for the Future, which is the world's leading futures organization. And for the last 50 years, they have been actually consulting governments, businesses, and social impact organizations to talk about foresights and training to navigate complex changes and develop world-ready strategies. So what we did was we actually partnered with them and tried to explore emerging technologies which will reshape our economy, our lives, and work over the next decade. There will be new dynamic between man and machine, and it will transform all the tasks and work which we are doing currently by 2030. In fact, this particular research has actually interviewed around 4,600 business leaders across 40 plus countries in the world. And it's a great study, and you can all go to Dell.com and refer to this document. So let's start with, how will a day look like in 2030? A day in the life of NDD who's actually sitting in Lagos, Nigeria. Actually, NDT messaged her friends that she got the gig, the work. The process was very typical in 2030. So after attending one of our friends' recruitment event, and this friend had a social VR company, NDT got an to invite code actually to play a recruitment game. And what she did is she followed through, squeezing in time between her commute to work and played it on her device during her commute. The game was fun for her because she felt immediate gratification when she leveled up quickly. So, guess what? The results showed that NDT scored very high in intellectual curiosity, attention to detail, and her results indicated that she was skilled in spatial reasoning, which is a strength she didn't know she had actually. And that entailed that she could actually have a strong leadership potential going forward. And based on all these criteria, an offer from an immersive architecture firm followed in the next 48 hours. So that's going to be the norm in 2030 as we move forward. So what are those emerging technologies which will re-architect the world of work? The changes and the learnings in 2030 will be enabled by maturation and proliferations of today's technology, of course, all the emerging technologies which are today. And these technologies will give birth to new industries, new jobs, places of work, and working patterns. I was going through some statistics from global organizations. The re-emphasis for the need of reskilling for 2030 job market is very, very essential. And as part of my role in Dell, one of my tasks is to actually see how can I mentor salesperson to sell different services as a service type of uh, products and solutions rather than selling hardware, which Dell is famous for. So we are also undergoing that transformation within our company itself. The OECD estimates, that 1.1 billion jobs are liable to be radically transformed by technology in the next decade. That's another point of statistics which I can share with you. And the World Economic Forum says that nearly half of core skills are set to change by 2022, which is not very far away. And in 2017, McKinsey did research, and the McKinsey Global Institute estimated that as many as 375 million workers, or roughly 14% of the global workforce, would have to switch occupation or acquire new skills by 2030 because of automation and artificial intelligence. Talking about artificial intelligence, a lot of you have actually listened and heard about it extensively during this event, I'm sure. And today's Times of India says that India sees most growth in AI adoption. This is a PwC study which has been done. So artificial intelligence will also be something which I'll be talking about. And guess what? As startup organizations, as venture capitalists, as networker, you should all look at AI as one of the key criteria going forward when you're defining your workforce. And of course, with COVID-19, the impact on the business world has been widespread. The need for reskilling, relearning is now being felt more strongly, not only at an organization level, but at an individual level. We have to adapt to new things, new skills, and the post-pandemic ways of working will actually be crucial building operating model for resilience for different organizations. So on that front, four emerging technologies are critically important to understand how humans and machines will work in concert with each other to better match people to meaningful, creative, and sustaining work. The first one, of course, is collaborative AI. Goes without saying that there will be a lot of effort and a lot of background work which has already started, and I'll share some of those which will be interesting and informative from our point of view and what we can do. The second is multimodal interfaces, which will actually give rise to a lot of shift in the way we do things today. And I'll touch upon that in more detail. The third is the secured distributed ledger. This is nothing but an offshoot of blockchain and associated technologies, which will drive a lot of work going forward. And last but not the least is extended reality. And extended reality covers virtual reality, augmented reality, multimodal reality, and so on and so forth. So it has a wide replication in the way we do things. And there are signals of change which we are seeing in our industry today, which says that this will be one of the driving factors going forward, especially in the area of skills development, learning on the job, and so on and so forth. So I'll touch upon that in more detail. Let me first talk about collaborative AI. The robots are coming for a job. That has been a common concern expressed in discussions about AI. Whoever you talk to will say that the robots are coming for our jobs. Articulation of the relationship will be important between human and machine, because we are looking at partnership through which two groups work together to achieve more and in harmony. We envision a cooperative AI system. That goes without saying that human strengths are programmed and integrated into machine intelligence. While we have deciphered that humans need to improve ability to offload tasks that are better suited for machines like mundane and routine tasks, there is a requirement of AI systems to be designed to recognize computational limitations and know when to lean on their human partners because for help, because that will be a critical area to work towards. And AI explicitly designed for collaboration will help build capacity in machines to improve their understanding of humans. So this is as far as collaborative AI is concerned, and the associated changes which we are seeing. And let us consider sort of a signal of change which we are seeing today. The Allen Institute for Artificial Intelligence, which actually works on AI and AI related stuff, and the link is there at the bottom, which you can go and check. They aim to build a common sense into machine systems. Why? So that they can better collaboratively partner for humans. There is a group within Allen Institute called a Computer Vision Research Team. The name is Prior, PRIOR, Perceptual Reasoning and Interactive Research Team. They released a collaborative game in which the AI system uses its ability to reason and make inferences to communicate with a human person. So what it does in the game is the AI and the human partner trade off illustrating scenes to try to understand what the other has drawn. This is like we playing games in our younger days, sitting back to back to each other and then trying to decipher what my friend has drawn and vice versa. And what one good thing and what good outcome of the entire research project is, uh, we do not want the machine to outperform a human, and that happens in most of the what do you call initiatives which are going on in AI, like chess matches, who can outwit the human or the machine. The researchers at the Allen Institute are building machine systems that can communicate better and interact with human partners better. So that's the objective, and hence you see there's a lot of focus in collaborative AI, and there are signals of change which are important to consider when we plan for 2030, when we plan for the next 5 years, next 10 years, as far as our organizations are concerned. And by the way, it's not necessary that you have to be an AI organization to do this. It will be equally applicable to whatever business you're running. Next comes the multimodal interfaces. When I talk about multimodal interfaces, we generally associate seeing, hearing, touching, and these are the common human senses in human machine interaction. There are emerging interfaces which are being created with haptic feedback, gesture recognition, and even smell to some extent, to provide a lot of alternative mediums for interacting and displaying data. One interesting thing is, I don't know how many of you have used the Apple iWatch, and guess what? Now they've incorporated within Watch OS a software which actually times my washing of the hand with soap and water. after the pandemic, actually, and it times it down to 20 seconds. And if I wash my hands before 20 seconds, it will give me a warning that you have not washed your hand properly or something like that. So guess what? I don't know whether it's storing all the data and sending it to my insurance company or doctor or whatever it is, but such things have started happening. And it's important that multi-sensory integration will be important and expand the possibilities of diversifying the user experience to a great level and will be more accessible to different types of users. And that will be a great change as we move forward. So let us see the signal of change here. There is a company called Ultra Leap, which was actually called Ultra Haptics earlier. They create tactile sensations, which actually do not require any controllers or wearables. And the users can control buttons and slides with mid-air haptics. I mean, you don't have to touch anything to actually interact with the devices. And guess what? In today's day and age, it is important to keep public technologies such as ATMs, kiosks cleaner. And this will be a great way of actually introducing gesture interface, which will improve safety in also in medical environments and vehicles, because what it does is it helps keeps users focus on where it should be and away from the device. And that will be a great advantage, because then you'll not have people texting in the car and using all kinds of things while driving. So these are things which will actually, the multimodal interface will have a great impact on the type of job, on the type of work which we'll do in the future. The third one is the secure distributed ledger. This is, like blockchain is providing an immutable, transparent data storage mechanism, allowing all parties to access all transaction data without any problem or without any a middle person like a bank. This will enable applications like smart contracts, and smart contracts will be built for transactions where it will be triggered algorithmically and when objective criteria are met. And these contracts will be different from the type of contracts we see today, and hence the digital storage and the way it's purposed will all change as we move forward. And by 2030, we apprehend that smart contracts will be connected more seamlessly to real world events. And this will be a great way of bifurcating different type of things which we are doing today. And it will facilitate the ability to automate a whole host of activities, which will include real-time compensation that is linked to the completion of a work task. So no longer will you have compensation based on a payroll type of an environment, but it can be based on a real-time completion of work task, and you can be paid for that. And more details in the example which I'm showing you next. So what is the signal of change? H, which is a smart contract-based payroll platform, is allowing for real-time payment of wages. I don't know how many of you have seen the platform called H. It's pretty interesting. It's built on top of the Ethereum blockchain, and it seeks to reduce the administrative burden associated with payroll, and therefore accelerates the pace at which people can get paid. Their CEO says that this is the first evolution in payroll since the Industrial Revolution, and it offers an alternative way for employees to be paid. So instead of being a dependent on employers' payroll structure, a smart contract-based system will make it possible for workers to receive their wages in real time. And it will not depend on whether you're part of this company or that company. You can do multiple roles in different companies and get paid in real time. That will be a great initiative once we implement all these for actually startups where you don't have to hire people and put them in payrolls permanently. You can get work done and pay them in real time using platforms like this. So again, look at these as interesting ways of doing things. And if you're looking at organizing or incorporating a business which incorporates all this, it's actually very, very good. So the last one is the extended reality, or XR as we call it. All of us know that the current technologies blend the digital and physical worlds. and the two will become more intricately overlaid over the next decade. That's a sort of an assumption which will become real, I'm sure, because there are a lot of activities which are happening to make it more overlaid, and there are more and more innovative experimentation which is going on with extended reality. So extended reality includes, as I said, augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality, and it combines real and virtual environments and encompass all human machine interactions, either generated by computer technology or by in today's context, variables become very, very interesting. And the blended environment will allow users to turn whatever which is now abstract information today into rich interactive experiences. And that is something which all of us are looking forward to as we move forward. So as you can see, by 2030, more organizations will rely on extended reality and will share content of any on any computing device for a lot of the activities like training and simplification of different roles within the organization itself. An example is Interplay Learning. Again, Interplay Learning today uses virtual reality and 3D simulation based training software. And what they do is they train HVAC and solar technicians. Why it's important? Because to train HVAC and solar technicians, you have to either send them to the field and mount the tower of where the high voltage access is actually gone down or whatever has happened, and switch off that and create inconvenience for a lot of people. Instead of that, if I can virtually train them with this type of virtual reality and software, it will make it easier for workers to gain knowledge and skills. Most of this, workers will have access to over, hundreds of hours of scenario-based learning and courseware, and they can learn it at their sweet time on their device, choice of device, which is either the phone, the computer, or in VR. And this is something which will become prevalent as we move forward and see this becoming a reality very soon. There are devices which are available today. There are software which are available today, which is doing just that. So we saw those four, signals of change which are happening, and four emerging technologies which will change the way work will happen in 2030. So what are the opportunities for the human-machine partnerships? And what are the shifts transforming the future of work? We see that there are three shifts which are accounting for this transfer of, transforming future of work. And they are inclusive talent, empowered workers, and last but not the least, AI fluency. So let me touch upon each of these very briefly. If you talk about inclusive talent, there is a company called Eightfold, which has an enterprise talent intelligence platform. It improves humans' ability to evaluate unrelated skills and knowledge, and that they do with personality traits and interest to determine if someone is a good fit for an open position. So you forget about all the recruitment related task and give it to Eightfold platform, and they will select it based on what your actual skills and knowledge base is. There is a company called Knack, which combines video games, behavioral science, and of course clubs it with AI to help uncover skills and capabilities which is unknown to both the individual and the employer. Again, a very typical example of what will happen in 2030. And of course, we will need a common verified language platform. So a credentialing platform like Credly aims to build that, and they build it for skills and demonstrated competencies so that organizations can understand the applicants' learning in common terms. They can understand the histories and better recognize the full potential of every individual. So as you can see, there's a whole lot of things which are happening to make inclusive talent a way of life by 2030. And these things will be different as we move forward. A day in the life of, in the life in 2030 for inclusive talent. As you can see, Lydia Kim, a hiring manager sitting in London, England, she is actually seeing new employees on their first day of the job, and she has recruited them, she has hired them, but she has not seen them before. Because why she's not seen them before? Because the AI system she has used spots and recruits talents who have the admirable track record, and the AI system has admirable track record in finding the right type of people and who can contribute on day one itself. What she often doesn't know, of course, is where when she offers a job is what is their age, the gender, and unless required for the job, their geographic location also. And that is how the AI system is evaluating an individual's ability based on purely their competencies and assess their potential. And Lydia and her team are doing a great job in overhauling their entire hiring process. And this process will continue in a lot of companies as we go forward. Moving on, as we see, next shift is the empowered worker. And this is interesting because what has happened is a growing movement has started to design work infrastructure, and this is happening today, for promoting collaboration and rewarding contribution, and that is taking shape. Gaming and coding is basically getting done as way people will collaborate. Automated profit sharing payroll will pay for tasks, as I mentioned earlier, and there's a company called Colony, which constructs the tools people need to be able to quickly and easily work together to accomplish a discrete task. And this is already happening. There is a company called Discord, which is a free voice, video, and text chat app, which is highly popular with players of strategy games. And that is also using some of these, new age technologies and solutions for making it real for everyone. So what the last one is, of course, the AI fluency. The capabilities in AI are without question. As I mentioned, there are a whole lot of things which are happening, but human strengths and capabilities have to be integrated into AI systems, and that is required because we need workers to partner more collaboratively with AI systems. So there's a company called X.ai, and they built Amy and Andrew. These are autonomous AI scheduling assistants, and they help companies, CEOs, or CXOs to automate everything which you can to free up humans' time and attention for higher order thinking. So as you can see, there's a whole host of things which are happening as far as these shifts and influences are concerned. Now, there are some dilemmas we have to navigate. And there are three primary dilemmas which we have to look towards for preparing the human machines partnership impacted work. The first is algorithmic bias. For example, challenge the assumptions which hiring managers have. Hiring managers know what constitutes an ideal employee. In 2030, it will not be true because we will be seeking work which will understand how the profiles are being interpreted by machine learning, and organizations have to dovetail those requirements back to how the AI system will actually work. And of course, there will be ethical practices included for full visibility and other factors. Digital skill gaps goes without saying that we need, a lot of platform collaboration to work and take full advantage of the 2030 human-machine partnership. And workers' rights and protection will be important because now it will not be geography based, not will be just agreements based. And how do we navigate the different laws and regulations associated with workers will be something which a lot of governments are actually focusing on and paying attention to. So in conclusion, for this part of the session, I'd say that emerging technologies of the new decades are happening. Collaborative AI, multimodal interfaces, secure distributed ledgers, and extended reality are things which will actually transform and create shifts which will be inclusive talent, empowered workers, and AI fluency. Now you might say that what has Dell got to do with this? And why is Dell talking about this? So as one of the largest global technology providers, we have a unique role to play in transforming the future and driving human progress. And we are well positioned to do so. And how we are doing it is basically, creating collaborative AI platforms with our, investments which are going into advancing AI solutions. We are actually working with partners to create secure digital distributed ledgers, extended reality and extended reality solutions are part of all the client solutions which we are building today. with a lot of XR and AR and VR incorporated as part of those solutions, and it
Right.
will only accelerate. And we are
Yes.
helping ecosystem partners with as a service platform. So if you're interested in testing out and not, what do you call, spending money on infrastructure resources, there is a way of doing it very soon with as a service platform where you don't have to go to the cloud directly. You can use as a service like storage as a service, PC as a service, compute as a service, and these platforms will become all pervasive. And we
Mr.
have rolled it up into our acceleration of our own transformation journey. We have created some 2030 moonshot goals, which includes advancing the sustainability of the ecosystem. So recycling and reusing every product one to one, whatever customer buys will recycle and use, the ocean plastic for packaging. 2 minutes. Transforming lives. We want to make 1 billion lives better. Cultivating inclusion because the 50-50 gender representation is very important, and upholding, of course, ethics and privacy. And these moonshot goals are very, very, I would say, goals which are today seems non-achievable, but I'm sure with all the work which is happening behind, it'll transform very soon. And we are investing, for example, 70 million on STEM initiatives to make sure that the 50-50 global diversity ratio can be actually obtained in years to come. There will be a potential global tech labor shortage of 4.3 billion. So that'll 4.3 million, that'll add to it. And there, as we see that the shortage of IT employers are something which we are working towards to make sure everybody can, be part of the workforce. And that we are doing by supporting workforce reentry. This has already started. Gender diversity on executive teams are something which we are looking at, not for 2030, but now itself. And we apprehend, and we have actually put a moonshot goals that by 2030, 40% of our leaders will be women in the workforce. Leaders, I'm talking about, and 50% employees. And to that effect, 17,000 students are being actually taught in the solar learning labs in India. You can get more details on solar learning labs here, part of our CSR initiative for achieving the 2030 goals. So again, to summarize this session, the emerging technologies of the next decade will change the future of work. There will be enablers and shifts which will happen. AI fluency, talent, inclusive talent, and empowered workers will be key for making that a reality. And as Dell Technologies, we are fully geared up to support you and your organization as you transition to the new future of work. We are all in it together. The future needs all of us together. And thank you for your attention and hope you have a nice evening. Back to you, Jasleen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hazra, for such meaningful insights to this session where we were talking about emerging technologies, impact on work in next era of human-machine partnership. So we are really very thankful to you for all that you have shared with us. We got to know a lot about new dynamic between man and machine and what will happen by the year 2030. Some of the insights even I am very shocked listening to. So thanks a lot for being with us here today at Tide Global Summit 2020. We would love to listen to you again and looking forward to see you sometime soon. Thanks for being with us over here today.
Thank you. And thank you to all the attendees. Thank you very much, distinguished attendees.